hột gà nướng, hột vịt lộn, hột vịt sữa, trứng cút lộn, mất xào đây.
Thank you for listening to Season 7, 7 Million Bytes, a Vietnam podcast. I'm your host, Niall Mackay. For those of you that listen to the podcast regularly, you'll know that Adrian and I have been in Vietnam now since 2016, so we know how hard it can be to find English entertainment here and meet new friends. Through the podcast and our events, we're building a community of like-minded people so you can have fun, connect with others, and discover more of Vietnam. Become a member of the 7 Million Bikes community and you'll get free tickets to our events, free 7 Million Bikes face masks, episodes a day early, behind-the-scenes content, and invites to special events for community members. If you join the community before the end of September and live in Vietnam, you'll get a free 7 Million Bikes face mask sent to you straight away. The link is in the show description, so check it out and join today. Thank you so much to our existing community members. We look forward to seeing you again soon. This season, we've gifted sponsorship of a Vietnam podcast to two amazing charities close to our hearts, the Blue Dragon Children's Foundation in the north and Saigon Children's Charity in the south. Please check out the links in the description to learn more about these amazing organisations and donate if you can. Don't forget to follow 7 Million Bikes on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, even TikTok now. Enjoy the episode and thanks for listening.
Mất xào đây.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. So we're now open to questions. So raise your hand, shout out, turn your cameras on, turn your mic off, and any questions, then go. I can see Annie. She's dying to say something. Go on.
It's not about the yoga. I wanted to ask Marcel about his so you call it a storytelling workshop, but you're actually coaching entrepreneurs through how to build a business and do startups. Why do you phrase it as a storytelling workshop? Does it involve any creative storytelling?
So thanks for the question. I think it's a very pertinent one. So with that workshop, I help entrepreneurs clarify their message. Because most of the time, you have a business idea, you launch a business, but you could get a few clients because you start with your network and your, people around you. But at some point, your sales plateau because people don't understand what you offer, why you're better than the competitor, how to buy from you. It sounds very simple, but it's not that easy when you just bootstrap your business to really clarify those points and include it in your marketing, in your material, on your websites. Even when you do a pitch, startup, they have to pitch their startups. And we tell them, tell us what problem you solve, and that's it. And they often start with themselves, and they're confused. So I help them with this storytelling workshop where it's the hero's journey where the customer is the hero and not the business owner. And that's a mistake a lot of people do. So you help the hero with your solution as a guide, and then you call them to implement a plan, which is your solution, call them to action because people don't take action, if you don't call them to action. And then to avoid failure, what's the cost of not doing business with you or to achieve success? So this is the storytelling framework. So it's very useful to clarify your message, whether it's a Facebook post, a website, or landing page. It's a campaign, it's an email, it's a pitch. So that's been very, very successful. You see a result.
Amazing. That's so cool that you frame something that's so technical and can seem really scary to a lot of people in a way that's understandable. For me, because I'm a filmmaker, the hero's journey is like a format that I'm really familiar with. So yeah, cool.
Awesome. So October 5th, I'm doing a free online workshop So you can join.
Great. I'll check it out.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool that hero's journey framework. So I used to work for not-for-profits and for charities, and I remember we even got taught that in the relation to the Luke Skywalker kind of hero's journey and how to use that even in fundraising kind of communications. So it's something that it's used a lot, right, in kind of movie making and things like that. So yeah, you should definitely join. I know, Martial, I thought you were going to mention that. I think you did. I don't know if you mentioned that your course on October 5th. If you want to put a link to that in the chat box, then go for that.
Yeah, I will do that. Yep.
I would definitely recommend that. All right. Anyone else? Carrie, any more questions? Annie, Leigh, Levine, Lex, Zion, Tracy, I can name you all. Adri, Sunny. We got a even discussion, comments.
I'm a bit interested. You said you worked in like a creative design industry kind of in Switzerland and then brought it over to Vietnam. And you spoke a bit about the kind of the difficulties with like a foreign workforce. In terms of challenges for the actual like customer side, how do they vary between kind of what we're used to in the West and maybe out here, like pre-online?
So you're asking how foreign customers perceive me in Vietnam?
Yeah, kind of like, the challenges that you face because of that.
So actually getting clients here was not really a challenge. So I had clients in Switzerland, so I was not looking for clients here. But I built a team here because we got some big clients in Switzerland, and we wanted to build a team of developers here. Vietnam actually is number one in terms of IT outsourcing, which not many people know. And so it's a great place to find developers, and they're really good. So we built a team here to cater to my Swiss clients or European clients. And then later on, people would find me here because I had to do some SEO, search engine optimization, to be credible to Vietnamese staff. If you don't have an online presence, Vietnamese staff would not trust you. So someone told me you should do a bit of website and Facebook and SEO and all that. So I did. But back then, nobody would do SEO in Vietnam. So I was the first one to be found. And I got so many clients here from Australia, from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from Ukraine, So finding clients here was not a big problem.
Awesome. And do you find that you have to kind of, in terms of like people coming to you with outsourcing, do you have to look a lot for that, or is that something that comes to you because of like SEO and stuff?
So people are looking for agencies in Vietnam or outsourcing in Vietnam, and they end up finding my websites. I was not really doing outsourcing. I was more of like a design studio where we design the use case of an application or of a website. So there was a bit more R&D behind it, and we were doing the UI UX. So that was our key differentiator compared to all those IT outsourcing companies that would just do the development and not do the specification form. Yeah.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? Come on, let's hear some comments. Zion, Leigh. Leigh, I want to hear what your comments about what I was talking about. Was I talking absolute nonsense about my Vietnamese history, or was I close?
Yeah, you were. And I hope there's no any governmental offices here.
I didn't say anything bad about the powers that be.
Luckily, you have it. You haven't unfolded it.
I haven't what?
Unfolded it.
Unfolded it.
Like what? Uncovered. You know the dark side of the history of the Vietnam War. You know all of that.
I don't
Just
know
keep
all
it for
of it.
yourself.
So any other questions for Martial or comments? Zion, how was that?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being on this Zoom and meeting Marcel. You came in 2012, and Neil brought up a really good question that he would ask in the past of what would you prefer 20 years ago in Vietnam or now? And I came in 2011, and I'm always wondering, our perspective as far as like the romance of it. It was my first time outside of the United States and traveling 10 years ago. And I kind of feel like I wish it was 10 years ago. And this is kind of a thing where when you see something change so much and it changes so fast. I came from San Francisco where it wasn't as big and shiny. We didn't have .coms. They didn't have these big shiny buses transferring people, back and forth. But that comment that, Vietnam was much poorer back then, and we wrote, our Western thinking may be this romanticizing, but I'm still really poor. So I really do appreciate Vietnam 10 years ago. I really do appreciate San Francisco 20 years ago. I guess my question, or for anyone to comment on, since we've seen such a drastic change, maybe things have changed a little bit as far as our thinking because of COVID. Marcel, where do you see your reach going into the future?
So, sorry. So I think working online or launching those online courses that I'm doing would help me reach a lot more people, and also reach more people in secluded areas that don't have access to education, that don't have access to, what they need in order to start a business. So I think now it's really great as long as you have a connection, internet connection, and a piece of laptop somehow, you can work online, you can make a bit of money online. And that's what I can help people with. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. I think that's great. I think, technology is taking us to such great places. And to see the change happen, but yet, I guess COVID coming in and kind of slowing some parts of it down, that even with that happening, we still can progress, still go much further with the technology.
Definitely. But I think what I would say now to someone that is struggling with the COVID or with the lockdown is that if you know something, and you must know something, you can teach online, you can share what you know, you can help people and make a bit of money with that. You can post a gig on Fiverr. There are so many ways you can make a bit of money online now.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just like a follow-up. I don't know if this is a comment or question or what, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while, that now we're looking like kind of the expats leaving, following from what Zion says. There has always been like this kind of, I don't know, I feel there's been quite a thirst from people in the education industry in Vietnam, like particularly expats. After a couple of years, they feel a bit burnt out, and they love Vietnam, but they feel like they have to leave because they can't stay in the education field. And one of the things I hear people say is they always say they would love to like go into a non-education field and carry on living here. But it seems to be something that a lot of expats and immigrants in Vietnam don't have access to, whether because they don't know or they're unsure of themselves. I'm not too sure. Do you think it's difficult for kind of expats to make that transition from the traditional expat jobs into more kind of web-based jobs like you're doing?
I don't think it's that difficult. It just takes a bit of a a lot of people, I know they're trying to build an online business or a passive income, but they're a bit procrastinating. They don't have the time. So I think you really have to be committed and dedicate quite a bit of time, make some sacrifice on your private life in order to really pivot and build something online. Some people are scared. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of not sustaining a living. But I think if you build a passive income on the side and do a smooth transition, I think it's quite safe.
We'll be right back.
Join pilot and adventurer Fernando Pino as he takes you on journeys to discover exciting destinations across the UK and Europe. You'll fly with him to hidden gems and experience local culture, from bustling streets to serene hideaways and the best places to eat, sleep, and play. Travel Plans is more than a podcast. It's your ticket to exploring the world and its history with a friend. In this episode, we are flying to discover a beachside paradise perfect for the whole family. Discover golden sands, activities galore, and even free childcare so you get your own break too. Why am I still here?
Is it something that like expats, particularly in this country, kind of come to you for advice for or guidance?
Some do, yes, definitely. Or some say, "Oh, I wish I could work online, or I could, do things online." Even before the pandemic, some, you have people come teaching here, and the husband or the wife is like staying at home, or trying to figure out things here, trying to get a job, not fitting in the culture. So for those people, sometimes I say, "Yeah, why don't you start a business or start online, do a small gig," and that's going to be a lot more motivating than just staying home or finding a boring job you don't like.
So to follow up on that as well, what you're saying is you would need to continue your job, let's just say, for example, in the education industry, right, as a teacher or whatnot in the industry. And then no matter what country you're in, if you want to start up a side business or you want to start a business, you just really need to dedicate yourself to it. So then you just need to give up your social life, give up your free time. You need to dedicate yourself. But where I see the difficulty in Vietnam is there is a massive barrier that you could do exactly that. You build a successful business, but then if you want to leave your job in the teaching industry, you need to have $130,000 to get a visa. So that's what, I don't know if that's, Carrie, where your question is coming from. I think that's maybe where a lot of expats feel trapped in Vietnam in the education industry, because no matter what they could maybe offer to the country in different ways, as far as I can see anyway, and I don't know all the ins and outs of visa and immigration, but as far as I can see, there's not really many other ways, unless you're an expert in a field where you work as a supervisor in a factory or you work for one of these big overseas companies. So is there another pathway to creating an online business in Vietnam and being able to stay here without continuing in your existing job, whether that's in the education industry or not?
That is a very good question. I think it's a bit challenging now because you have to register a business, and that is getting a bit more difficult now. Like we mentioned earlier, you have to invest quite a lot of money, which I would not recommend to do. So that requires a bit of research. Some people find someone of trust where they can get a work permit through that company or through a friend or through an agent, and so they can stay in Vietnam while doing their online gig. But that's true that is becoming a challenge. I don't have all the answers for that.
Yeah. Is that what you were kind of thinking, Carrie, with that?
Yeah, just I mean, I guess it was definitely that is part of what I was saying. It was more of a comment on the kind of the frustration that I see from a lot of expats here, who kind of, like I said, they would love to stay here and be doing some sort of different job, either be like kind of something on lines of remote work or outsourcing or their own business. But yeah, the frustration of not kind of being able to leave their teaching job because they don't really have the information or the resources to know how to do it. So yeah, it definitely encompasses all of that.
But I wonder though, I think often in Vietnam, we forget to apply the same rules as we would to different countries because Vietnam is quite different. If I was in New Zealand, for example, where I used to live, and I had a job, and then I wanted to do my side hustle as an online company, even in a country like New Zealand, I don't see how I would then be able to be like, oh, well, I want a different visa now because I'm finished with that company and now I've started a business. So now can you give me a visa for my new company that I've started? Maybe there would be a pathway. And in some of these countries, I'm sure there probably is. But I think it's probably, I don't know. But I would imagine, just for example, in New Zealand, you would need to have a minimum investment in your company to be able to be eligible to get a visa. So I think from the way I see it is in Vietnam, it's been a bit of the Wild West for so long where people can just get visas and stay here and renew them every 3 months and start these companies and these side projects and blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly this year reality's hit. So however it was handled, that's another issue. But reality hit of, oh, we're actually going to follow the rules. And if you don't have a proper visa, you can't stay here. And then suddenly everyone's up in arms about it. Like, wait, what do you mean I can't stay here? But he's like, well, you don't have a proper job. You don't have a proper visa. Like that's the same rules as every other country in the world.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I would do, if you have a bit of savings or a bit of money, I would invest in the local business. And so even if it's like a 10%, 30%, but then you could get a resident card as an investor. So I would definitely do that.
But is there a minimum investment on that?
No, there's no minimum investment if it's in the local business. Of course, you're not going to be the owner of the business, but at least you have some stakes in the company, and that is enough to be able to stay in Vietnam.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That is, yeah. And how would you, again, from someone who's kind of within the business sphere here, how would you kind of go about access to those opportunities of investment?
Well, I would want to trust the business somehow to give them my money. Now, I think you don't need much
That's
money.
That's a challenge.
That is a challenge. I mean, maybe not when you just first arrive, but after, I don't know, 5 years, or if you've been here already, I think you can meet someone that you trust that is willing to start a business. I think you could do with $5,000, and that would be enough. So of course it's a lot for a lot of people, but I think if you could get some money back later on and that allows you to stay in Vietnam and help a local business, I would definitely do it.
No, look, what you do is you go to Boy Vien. There's a guy on the corner there. If you got $5,000 to invest, he will absolutely take that $5,000. He's got a company, his auntie set it up. You take your investment and he'll come back with a visa the next day. You'll be fine. But so from my experience, so we did register 7 million bikes, is now a registered company this year, but not any investment in it to be eligible to get a visa or anything like that. So I'm in that kind of cycle or that trap of I'm still employed ILA, which I'm happy to be in. I'm not trying to get out of that, but I'm not at the stage where I'm going to invest $130,000 in 7 million bikes to be able to stay in the country. So I get where your question's coming from there, and I'm kind of feeling that kind of thing, and it would be nice. The thing that gets me more than anything, though, is not even a personal thing. As I learned recently, they don't have a retirement visa here in Vietnam. Which I don't know, Lei, if you knew anything about this, because why would you? Because you don't care about if old people retire here. But I didn't know this either till recently. Countries like Thailand have a retirement visa. So if you are getting your pension money from whatever country you live in and you're spending that in this new country, they'll give you a visa to live there. So even though you don't work, you're still contributing to the economy. And I don't know, maybe Martial, do you have a comment or do you know anything about this? Because I know there's plenty of people here in Tao Dien and around Vietnam who've been here for 20, 30, 40 years with companies, with jobs. And now, as I learned that fact that Vietnam doesn't have a retirement visa, I'm like, what are they going to do when they retire? Like, they've lived here 40 years and now it's like, oh, I got to go home because I'm not allowed to retire here?
Yeah, true. I think they might be talking about it, but I don't think there's any plan right now.
Lei, were you going to make a comment on that?
I never heard about it, to be honest. And I'm quite surprised that you told me Thailand is having it. Really?
Yeah, I think it's a big thing for like people in Western countries. Once they get to retirement age, they'll go and move to, beautiful
It's true.
beach
It's just
sites.
Swiss people.
Swiss people,
Swiss
right?
people, they retire in Thailand.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Swedish
Indonesia
as well.
too. I think Vietnam here, they are more open to expat. I mean, like I think it's even more for the future. So I think they might look into it.
Hope so. But that it's I think so. For me, I'm obviously nowhere near retirement, but it's a common question that I get asked is like, "Oh, you're going to live in Vietnam forever?" And I mean, the answer is I don't know. Like that's not the plan right now. But then as I learned about this kind of retirement visa thing and whatnot, like the answer literally is like, I can't. Like, even if I was like, I want to live in Vietnam forever, like I couldn't make that decision right now because there's no pathway for me to live here forever.
If you're married to a Vietnamese girl.
Adrian, Leigh's advising me that I get married to a Vietnamese girl so that I can, Adrian might have an opinion on that.
My retirement plan is to open a bar on the beach.
Whereabouts though?
Somewhere in Vietnam, maybe. But then I could stay in Vietnam as an investor.
Yeah, sure. As an investor, that's why you can open a restaurant then.
Exactly. A bar owner, you open a small bar on the beach.
Or you get or invest a small amount in a locally owned bar.
We'll go 50-50, Martial.
Okay. Cool.
Harry's really good at drinking alcohol.
So no free tap for you.
So guys,
he's a really good bartender.
We'll finish up like the Q&A part of this. This has been really amazing. I'm so happy. Thanks for listening to this episode of 7 Million Bikes, a Vietnam podcast. We hope you enjoy hearing our guest stories. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the show and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Thank you so much to our producer, Lewis Wright, for making sure the show sounds as good as possible for you. And also a big thanks to the 7 Million Bikes community members and everyone who supports us. Don't forget, if you haven't already, you can join the community today. The link is in the description and you'll get free event tickets, a free 7 Million Bikes face mask and invites to special member events. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm still ashamed to say this, TikTok. Most of all, if you can, please donate to Saigon Children's Charity or Blue Dragons Children Foundation's COVID appeals. Remember, we have 6 seasons of stories to share with you, so check them out if you haven't already, and we hope you can listen to future episodes too, so you can laugh, connect, and discover. Cheers!
Hột vịt lộn, hột vịt sữa, trứng cút lộn, mất sao đây? Mất sao đây?
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease, and I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.